Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Johnny Go Vroom. Out here ripping around on the V12S, having a great time, trying to smell the flowers. Camera's so close you can probably smell them yourself. We got an absolutely epic show coming up. Honestly, Leaperkim just gave us all the gas that we need with that Orex. So let's ask the questions so that way we can get ourselves kind of on the same page. And the question that we have to ask to get this out of the way, to kind of get on the same page, is, has Extreme Bull been copying Leaperkim this whole time? And personally, I think the answer is obvious, but it's funny, right? The funny thing is, in that copy game, they just got reverse Uno'd, okay? Leaperkim wasn't even trying, and they accidentally still crushed them. So let's establish an understanding and talk about the copycat pattern a little bit, okay? So for those of you who have been around for a while, you remember there was a wheel called the Veteran Sherman, okay? That wheel had a roll cage. It was a 100-volt wheel, and it would go for quite a while, that wheel. It was amazing, right? But Extreme Bull launched with this wheel called the X-Man, which later was turned into the XM. And so your first clue that this was kind of nudging towards a copycat was that it introduced a roll cage into the Begode Extreme Bull ecosystem, and the roll cage was literally Leaperkim's signature. That was just their thing. So a 100-volt wheel with the roll cage. And at the time, it felt like a novelty, and we weren't really clear yet at that time if this was a copycat thing. It just kind of was, So, XM versus Veteran Sherman. That's kind of your first introduction to like the notion. The next one was the Commander Mini. Now, the Commander Mini versus the Patton, okay? Now, the Leaperkim Patton, the Veteran Patton, had a 2200 watt-hour battery and a 3,000 watt motor and something like a 45 mile per hour top speed and amazing suspension. But it was a 16-inch form factor, and we were all waiting for more 16-inch wheels at that time. And what we ended up seeing was that Extreme Bull drops the Commander Mini, and that was going to have a 2400 watt hour battery. It was a little bit bigger than the Patton, and it was going to have a 3200. It did have 3200 watt hour watt motor, and that was a little bit bigger. So essentially, we see at this time that it was a reactionary spec sheet release. Ongoing, carrying on. We get the Commander Pro versus the Sherman S. You guys remember the Sherman S. This thing was so plush. Everybody absolutely loved the Sherman S. That thing had a 3,000 watt high torque motor, 3,600 watt hour battery, and a 100-volt system, okay? It was well received. It was loved. A wheel that could do 80 miles easily if you took it easy. Some people got up to like 100 miles on that thing. It was absolutely crazy, right? But Extreme Bull comes along with the Commander Pro, and that one had a 3,500 watt motor. Okay, so one up literally. So 3,000 watt on the Sherman S, 3,500 on the Commander Pro. Then the same exact battery configuration, 3,600 watt hour. And there is a voltage nudge though with the Commander Pro at 134 volts. So at this point, it's really no longer debatable about whether or not Extreme Bull is trying to copy Leaperkim. So we have to kind of just accept that, hey, this is what's happening. We're now copying Leaperkim. Now, the thing that gets really funny about all of this, I mean, this is all kind of hysterical to me anyway, but you see them going tit for tat, tit for tat. So the Sherman L arrives, and we are all kind of patiently waiting for the Extreme Bull counter, because they always nudge a little bit higher, a little bit faster, and a little bit sloppier. That's just kind of the way that it goes. So Leaperkim releases the Sherman L, and that thing has a 151 volt system and a 4,000 watt hour battery, 60 miles an hour real world speed, and 20 amp charging. Now, that wheel was fast. I rode alongside that wheel while on my Master Pro version 3, and that thing could take off away from me at 45 miles an hour. So at 45 miles an hour, it would still get away from me, still accelerating like just nobody's business. So of course we were waiting for the response to this wheel. Extreme Bull actually announces this wheel called the Commander L. Man, if we weren't certain, like if the last release didn't have you sold on the notion that Extreme Bull is out here just flat out copying, when you see Sherman L and then you see Commander L, it's like and it looks, the profile of it looks literally exactly the same as the Sherman L. When you see that, you are literally like, no, bro, you guys are totally copy. But Extreme Bull delays the launch, kind of realizing the optics, I guess. And they end up rebranding the Commander L to the Commander Max, okay? And that thing, well, the Commander Max, this was like the trump card that ended up, I don't want to say it flopped because it hasn't released yet, but this is where it gets a little bit thicker. So they hold off, right? Extreme Bull holds off on releasing the Commander L. It turns into Commander Max, and they've got a 168 volt system versus the Sherman L's 151, right? They got a 4,400 watt hour battery versus the 4,000 watt hour battery. They've got a 4,500 watt motor versus 3,200 watt on the Sherman L, okay? The specs were clear. The Commander Max was Extreme Bull's attempt to one-up Leaperkim at every measurable stat, every measurable corner. But the magic was gone. The Commander Max felt reactionary, at least to the ecosystem, at least to the community, right? And it hasn't been delivered in time. That's the other thing. Like, if they would have put this thing in people's hands, like, a lot sooner, if they would have got this to distributors wholesale a lot sooner, maybe it could have weaseled its way into the ecosystems of everybody. It would have weaseled its way into the hearts and minds of everybody. But honestly, the magic was gone. The Commander Max, it feels late now. In lieu of what Leaperkim just did, it feels late. And hollow, compared to the Sherman L's engineering, straight up. That doesn't mean I'm not interested. I like the idea of the Commander Max, but you gotta call a spade, right? I love the rocket, but I will call out the things that are wrong. I love the wheel. Not every wheel is perfect. That's okay, right? So Leaperkim accidentally pulled a checkmate, the reverse Uno of the century, guys. With the Orex, they pulled the reverse Uno of the century. So Extreme Bull trying to hold on, trying to wait. It put them behind because they were just playing a numbers game, while Leaperkim, they just kept on trying to innovate. So they released this next Sherman. It's called the Orex, right? And we're working on releasing it anyway. And it's a 22-inch wheel. It's got a massive increase in battery and voltage. But the things that make it absolutely stand out to me are the brand new suspension, and then it's got this folding kickstand. It's focused on real world ride quality, not just like the spec sheet. Again, Leaperkim, you get this total package, this performance blended all in together. They know that they don't have to chase stats because they've got a nice total package. In context, what it is that they deliver is always top notch. Now, it's clear they didn't respond to Extreme Bull. They were focused on R&D, okay? And the ironic part, which makes this hysterical to me, is by focusing on their innovation instead of the reaction, Leaperkim accidentally reverse Uno'd Extreme Bull. Extreme Bull tried to beat them at their own game, and they still lost, guys. This is baffling to me. This is hysterical to me. It's like if you wanted a fast, super long-range wheel, and that was like faster than the fastest, you had only one option coming, and that was the Commander Max. And almost in a manner to cut off the legs of people before they receive their Commander Max, I guarantee you there's going to be a few people swapping their Commander Max order right on over to Leaperkim. And you can't blame them. It's a consistently tighter package. It's got a higher resale value. It's just been the darling of the community because they have been focused on passion and producing a product that just works. I'm not a fanboy of anybody. In fact, I've been kind of negative with regard to Leaperkim in the past. But I will tell you straight away, when they put their mind to it, they make a nice package, guys. Giggity. And with this Orex, they've absolutely done it. So here's where I'm going to leave you guys. Specs, they're easy to copy. On paper, it's easy to copy. Out of context, you can put anything together to beat the numbers on another thing. But innovation isn't easy to copy. Extreme Bull's copycat strategy worked for a while, and it was a good game until Leaperkim stopped playing that game. And look, right now, I don't know where Extreme Bull goes from here. But if Leaperkim keeps on pushing boundaries and focusing on brand new innovations, being a copycat is not going to cut it. I really thought that with the Extreme Bull GT Pro that we were going to see not Leaperkim, but Extreme Bull start to adopt their own personality. And inside of the Rocket and inside of the Extreme Bull GT Pro, I see that they have made themselves the fastest wheels on the planet. And I think that as long as they can maintain that heritage inside of their legacy, they've got a strong future possible. But there's no question about it. Being faster isn't enough to move wheels in 2025. We all wanted to touch that 40 mile an hour thing about 3-4 years ago. We wanted 40 miles an hour and we got it around that time. And honestly, most people chill around that space, 30-40 miles an hour. Being the fastest wheel is not gonna sell more units. People like me, we might do it if we've got multiple wheels in the stable and we want something to just make our jollies Roger, we might do it. But the general public isn't trying to have to work on wheels after they buy it. After you spend $2,000, you're not wanting to add zip ties, duct tape, hot glue, any of that stuff to your product. You just want to ride something you just spent that much money on without having to worry about issues. And with the very limited warranties that my friends over at Next Gen Mobility tell me that they receive from the Leaperkim wheels, I mean, they are the least RMA'd. They have the least amount of warranty claims. That's crazy to me, guys. And I think really, if you're buying a wheel in 2025 and you just want to enjoy yourself, thinking about which wheels have the least amount of warranty claims might be a good considerable strategy to make sure that you aren't stuck with something that is just not going to work in the long term. So do you think this is your time to shine? And again, these are all my opinions, so let me know. Maybe I'm way off base. I could be. I do want you to let me know, though. Do you think that Extreme Bull can innovate? Like, can they truly innovate? Will they, if they can? Or are they destined to just kind of be Leaperkim's shadow, chasing them around, chasing their innovations, chasing them on a stat sheet? Now, please, if you're interested in any of the wheels that I just mentioned, honestly, you can get them all at Next Gen Mobility. Next Gen Mobility has you covered. Rob Thale's going to make sure that you are treated like family. He's going to make you feel like a VIP customer. Every single person that goes through him is going to feel like a VIP customer. You'll feel like you're the only person that he's talking to. So if you do want the Orex at probably one of the best prices you're going to get in the country or the world, if you do want the Commander Max, if you're like me, or you want any of the other wheels that I ride or that I've mentioned, please, please, please consider checking out Next Gen Mobility. They will take good care of you guys, like I said. Anyway, it's been your boy Johnny, ripping around Grizzly pads. Those are what you see right there. That's the Vega Air GPX helmet, my backpack. That's going to be the Usui. And until next time, ride strong, ride safe, and we'll catch you around. Peace.